At last the happy day arrived. They departed, and Cinderella followed them with her eyes as long as she could. When she could no longer make them out, she began to cry. It was all in tears that her godmother found her. "Why, what is the matter, my child?" "I wish, oh, I wish—" Cinderella was so choked with tears that she could not get her words out. Now Cinderella's godmother was really a fairy. She said to her, "You wish you could go to the ball, is it not so?" "Oh, yes," sighed Cinderella. "Well, just be a good girl," said her godmother. "I'll see that you go." She took Cinderella into her chamber and said, "Now go into the garden and bring me a pumpkin." Cinderella ran to look for the most beautiful pumpkin she could find and carried it back to her godmother. How on earth could a pumpkin take her to the ball? Cinderella could not guess. Her godmother scooped the pumpkin all out, leaving only the rind. Then she touched it with her wand, and just like that, the pumpkin turned into a beautiful coach, gilded with pure gold. The fairy godmother then went to look for the mousetrap. In it were 6 sprightly mice. She told Cinderella to lift the door of the trap, and as each mouse scampered out, she tapped him with her wand. Each mouse was instantly turned into a handsome, spirited horse. And there, all in all, was a fine set of 6 horses, of a beautiful dappled mouse gray. "Now for a coachman. I'll go and see," said Cinderella. "If there's a rat in the rat trap, we can make a coachman out of him." "You are right," said her godmother. "Go see." Cinderella brought the rat trap. In it were 3 plump rats. The fairy chose the one that was that had the most handsome whiskers. When she touched him with her wand, there was a sleek coachman with the most elegant mustaches you have ever seen. Then the fairy godmother said to Cinderella, "Go now into the garden. Behind the watering pot you will find 6 lizards. Bring them to me." Cinderella had hardly fetched the lizards when her godmother turned them into 6 footmen, who hopped up behind the carriage in their fancy livery and lace, and held on as if they had never done anything else in their lives. Then the fairy said to Cinderella, "There now, that will take you to the ball. Are you not pleased?" "Oh, yes, but must I go in these rags?" Her fairy godmother had scarcely touched Cinderella with her wand when her rags changed into a gown of gold and silver, embroidered with rubies, pearls, and diamonds. Then she gave her a pair of little glass slippers, the prettiest in the whole world. Thus arrayed, Cinderella climbed into the coach. But her godmother charged her above all, "Do not stay a moment after midnight. If you do, your coach will turn back into a pumpkin, your horses into mice, your footmen into lizards, and your riches into rags." Cinderella promised her godmother that she would not fail to leave the ball before midnight. Away she went, beside herself with joy. Now when the king's son learned that a grand princess whom no one knew at all had just arrived at the palace, he ran out to receive her. He offered her his hand as she alighted from the coach, and led her into the ballroom, where all the company was assembled. Then a deep silence fell over the room. Everyone stopped dancing. The violin stopped playing. All eyes turned to the great beauty of this mysterious one. Only a low murmur rippled over the gathering. "Oh, how beautiful she is!" The king himself, old as he was, could not take his eyes off her, and whispered in a low voice to the queen that it had been a long time since he had seen anyone so charming and beautiful. The ladies were busy studying her headdress and her gown in order to have some made just like them the next day. If only they could find stuffs as fine and workmanship as skillful. The young prince conducted Cinderella to the seat of greatest honor, and then led her out on the floor to dance. She danced with so much grace that people wondered at her more than ever. A most splendid feast was served, but the prince did not taste a mouthful, so intent as was he in gazing at Cinderella. Cinderella went to sit near her stepsisters and paid them 1,000 courtesies. She shared with them some oranges and lemons which the young prince had given her. The sisters were completely astonished. They did not recognize her at all.